And just like that, we're back. That was a very quick transition, wasn't it, Steve?
It was a very quick transition. In fact, I'm still moving around because I realized I was blending into the curtains. So
I'm Am Grabelny. I'm one of your hosts. You will see my face a lot, either fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you feel. But we're here today for the show within the show, right, Steve?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Who are you, Steve?
Correct. So I'm Steve Roberts. I'm a developer advocate for .NET and PowerShell. But I mean, the previous code corners that we've done have been focused on .NET and PowerShell. But this morning one is going to be different, right? You're going to be teaching me about game days.
Oh, it's going to be way different.
I've forgotten. Steve. I have not switched the persona. So on goes the Brit hat. There we go. We're off.
There you go. AMster and the Brit.
Square. All right. We're off.
Wow. quick wardrobe change for you, Steve.
Quick wardrobe change. All right. So game days.
AMster and the Brit Code Corner, the show within the show. We're taking over the stream for just
20 minutes to show code or something technical or just chit chat about life in general. You know, we do that sometimes.
You just want to talk about life? Okay. No. We'll do code.
I think we should. Yes.
We're going to do a game day. So game day.
All right. A game day. Yes. So you've been telling me all about these game days. So,
I have.
but I'm not familiar with a game day. I know what a workshop is and I know what an immersion day is where we go to customer sites and we do an all day thing. Right. But what's a game day?
Well, Steve, I'll walk you through one right now. What do you think?
All right.
We'll just do it live.
Let's do it.
Okay, cool. So this is the game day console. You might be wondering, first off, how do I get to this? How do I?
Well, that was going to be my first question. How exactly would I get to this? Yes.
Well, unfortunately, it is an event, right? So basically what ends up happening is you have to come play somewhere, right? So it might be at a meetup. It might be at your company, for example. If you have an account team, they can put on a game day for you. Or it could be at an event like reInvent, for example. So we are playing game day right now. And this quest that I'm showing you right now, Steve, is going to be played. It hasn't been played yet down at Mandalay Bay during reInvent. So you come, you line up. You either can line up with a team or you can get assigned to a team, but it's a team sport, so to speak.
Oh, so you wouldn't do this individually in your own time. You're gonna do this with a bunch of other people on site at an event.
Funny that you say that. We actually have what's called Quest Fest on I believe Wednesday of this week, where you can come play by yourself. So you don't have to have a team, and you can just play through the quests at your own pace. But usually, and I'll pull this up real quick, usually what we've got is a scoreboard, and there are no other teams playing right now because it's just you and me, Steve. But you'll have teams on here and you'll be playing against other teams. Because one of the things you asked, how is it different than a workshop, I believe?
Yeah.
You were saying you're familiar with workshops.
Yeah.
One of the big ways, you get points, Steve. You get points. So,
do points make prizes?
Yes. If you're playing at reInvent, for example, there are fabulous prizes to win. And there we go. Our quest just kicked off. Okay. So, I don't know. Steve, do you remember Apple II back in the 80s?
I am that old. Yes.
Wasn't implying that, Steve. Wasn't implying that. But
yes, I do remember the Apple II.
There were a lot of like text-based games back then, right? Where you're in a clearing and
you entered a clearing and there's an axe on the floor or there's something over here. You go do something with that,
and you type in move forward.
I remember those. Yeah, I used to like those. Yeah.
These quests in game day are kind of like that. It's pretty text heavy. There are obviously some images and things. We're already seeing an image here, but you have to do a lot of reading. And I don't know if you noticed this before I clicked deploy. This one's supposed to take 60 minutes. We don't have 60 minutes, do we, Steve?
No, we do not. No. have about 15 minutes at this point in time. Just enough time to read all this text, I think.
Tabitha's going to be very upset with us if we take 60 minutes, I think. So I'll be your guide a bit. I'll be your Virgil, so to speak, through the rings of the underworld. But we've got here a quest, and each quest differs. I also should have pointed out before I click deploy there. It lists what services we'll likely be using. And for this quest specifically, they call out S3, EMR, Lambda, and Event Bridge, I believe, is in there too. EMR, I know this about you, Steve. That's not one of the services you're very familiar with, is it?
That is way out of my wheelhouse.
This is going to be pretty data analysis heavy, which, again, I'm the same way. That's not our strong suits, is it?
Nope. Okay. So this is a good way of actually stepping out of your comfort zone and trying something new, right?
Yes.
But you're still being guided, right?
Yeah, there is some guidance, right? So if we check this out, right, we've got already a call out to EMR Studio. So we know we're going to be using that if we scan this text really quickly. We've apparently been given a bucket, right? So we should probably go investigate that bucket at some point. We're calibrating refiners or something. There's like casings. This looks kind of like a puzzle, I guess. They're telling us S3 select here. I see EMR serverless jobs. So I'm kind of getting an idea, right, of like what will be at least touching from the AWS side, right? Maybe not so much the quest challenge yet, but I also feel
the tools you're going to use.
That's right.
In some combination or some order. It's not giving me, you're going to do this, then this, then this. It's kind of setting up a scenario and then letting me figure out which combination of things that I want to go use to solve this problem. Would that summarize it accurately?
Yes. And look, we've got a hint here too. And this one's free. So look.
I always take free hints.
Steve, if it's free, it's for me. I'm going to reveal it, even though we haven't read anything yet. Maybe we can skip ahead. So this is a pro tip for you if you're playing game day. If you want to move quickly because other teams are going to be scoring points and you want to score more points faster. Seems pretty obvious, right? But if you can, navigate around and find clues quickly, do so. You may waste some time reading all of the text. You may waste some time explaining pro tips like I'm doing right now. So hopefully, while I was talking, you were reading, Steve, but what did you learn from this hint?
This seems like a pattern matching task, spotting something in a stream of data from somewhere. And then identifying something of relevance in that data.
What's this?
Well, I know that's a Python script, but I don't know Python. The only Python I know is that it ends in .py. So there's a good start.
Okay. Where is that Python script? Do we know?
I would suggest, based on, I've been reading this while you've been talking, I would suggest we go take a look at that bucket, right?
Okay.
Let's go take a look at that bucket first.
Oops, I already had it open.
That's handy. Okay.
I told you I'm your guide here, Steve. I won't let you.
Scripts.
There it is.
Mining payload job. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So we're mining some data for some data that's inside here. Let's take a look at this.
I'm going to download it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move this here. Downloads mining payload job. And then I'm going to move it right here. I set up a little folder for us.
That was nice of you. Thank you.
You got it. I've always got your back, Steve. Okay. So what do we got here? Python, your favorite language, right? That's accurate?
Do we have a PowerShell version? No, I guess not.
No.
Okay,
I'm
fair
sorry,
enough.
Steve. Because this is going to run an EMR, as we saw earlier. An EMR supports Spark.
Okay.
So
there's another clue, right? We're going to be using EMR to do something with against that data. So we have a clue there, all right?
I'm going to skip us down. If you're unfamiliar with Python, like Steve, if you see something like this in Python, generally speaking, this pattern right here tells us that this is meant to be run from the command line. So this, they call it dunder, those double underscores. Some people call it dunder. When you see dunder main, that means if I run this from the command line, what should I do? So we can see there's an argument here, right? So command line arguments. We've got a description of those command line arguments here. The script counts the number of times a given element. So let's go back to that. Let's go back to that. Where were we?
So we have a script that we can run at the command line if we wanted.
Yes, correct. But remember,
and it looked like that S3 bucket had some data files in it, right? So my guess is that we got to run that script against those data files somehow to identify something, right? And it looks like the thing marked in green here, manner, is the thing we have to identify.
Yes, but it looks like there's a pattern here, Steve. So it looks like you've
got a pattern, right? Yeah,
a block of text, the mana text, and then another block of text. So like if you want to think of it as chapters in a book, right? So that the order is important, right? You've got chapter 1, 2, and 3. And so if you look at the top where it's got the correct version of this pattern, you've got chapter 1, 2, and 3 in order. If you look at the bottom where it says bad casing, that's like having chapter 1 and chapter 3 with no chapter 2 in between.
Okay,
so that's not right.
The first column and third column from that first row munched together in the final row. So that's not what we want. We want like the first row.
Yes, and it looks like we have to identify this using, I think EMR, right? Yeah, look. Yeah. Take a look at the Python script in your bucket for a way to count elements.
And use EMR serverless. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that free thing, right? So we may as well take it.
Yeah. So let's open EMR.
Although it says there that, hang on, a little bit further down in that text, it says there's some help text on that script.
Oh, should we run the help text? We were kind of reading the help text here already, but I'll run it too, just to.
So yeah, run it, and it makes it easier to read then.
Okay. Yeah. See, look, it's a command line tool. And it tells us the script counts the number of times a given element, string of characters in a set of payload. So this is exactly what we need to use.
Yeah.
But we need the spectrometer job, I think. All right.
That was a switch, right?
Yeah.
Mode. Yeah, operating mode. Okay.
Oh, and look, we've got some example usages too. So this will tell us how to use it. Payload source. We got the bucket, operating mode, and then an output destination. Okay.
All right.
Cool. So I'm just going to copy these.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't sound like this is something I'm going to run on my local machine. I'm going to run it in EMR, right? By the sounds of things. It's where it's trying to lead me. So, okay, let's go check EMR out then.
So I am not an expert in EMR, but I know that it told us to go look at EMR Studio.
Okay.
And EMR Serverless specifically, I think, was in the text too, right?
Right.
Oh, there we go.
Manner processing. Okay.
So
this has been set up for me, right? As part of the game day.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I said that earlier or not, Steve, but when you're playing a game day, you are granted an AWS account, like for free. And it's a real AWS account that you could play in. Now, it goes away after the event, so it's an ephemeral AWS account, but it lets you truly experience all of the things that you would in a regular AWS account.
Without any cost to me. So I can go to a game day, I can do this, and I don't have to give anyone a credit card number. I get an account for the duration of that game day, and I can just go.
That's right. It's free for you. Just for you, Steve. No, I'm just anyone who plays. Anyone who plays, it's free for them to come play. All right, so we've got this mana processor. It told us to run a job, right?
Yeah.
So I guess we submit job,
right? Yeah.
What do we call it? This is the hardest part. Naming something.
Mana. I don't know.
Okay, look at you, Steve.
There we go. All right.
We need a role.
Well, I guess that's been set up for us.
Hey, that's nice. Thank you to the quest builder here.
Yeah.
Actually, no, the quest builder's name's Brian. So shout out Brian.
Okay.
We got
so we need the bucket, right? because
Yeah.
that's where the data files are.
That's right. So I know it's called New Frontier.
Okay.
We already saw this one, but we
Yeah.
need the script,
payload.
right?
Because
this is where the script
location here.
Yeah, look, script location.
Oh, script location. Okay, so you have to give it a name. Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Carefully.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
you
now
do have to read a lot in this.
the script arguments. This is what we copied and now I'll paste it in.
Yeah. But that bucket name isn't going to work.
No, the bucket name's not going to work. And I also know this about EMR because I've used EMR once or twice. I'm not an expert, like I said, but you have to separate the arguments like this as like individual elements in an array.
Okay, so it's an argv array. Okay, so if you're actually going to go and do this game day at the event, this is a good tip to know.
Yes. Yeah, if you've never used EMR before, definitely. And because this is passing this in as arguments to, it's going to call, just like we did on the command line over there, Python 3, the name of our script, and then it'll pass all of these arguments.
So it's like an argc, argv processing loop in an old C program.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
Now I know exactly what that is. So we got to change the bucket, right?
Yeah.
So we saw our payload. I don't know if we actually looked at that in the bucket or not, but we can go check it out real quick.
There was payloads.
We've got, these are, okay. And I think we don't have to download this. We could, or we could inspect it with S3 select is what it told us. But I'm pretty sure all the data just looks like this.
Well, anyway. I've got a feeling that S3 select might be for later because it said something about ties, which I didn't quite understand.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
This feels to me in some ways like the setup of exams in England when I was at school, where you have a scenario set up and there's a couple of different paths to take. Depending on how you read the text, you could go one way or the other. And some things are just there like, well, you might want to consider using this, but it's probably not the right tool. I'm not saying that for S3 select here, but
Steve, we've been neglecting to check chat at all. Is anybody trying to help us?
Oh, I haven't looked.
Can you see chat right now?
I cannot see chat right now.
Okay, I can't either because I'm sharing my screen. But well, if you're out there trying
to help us, Tabitha's out there watching and there's anything there, Tabitha, post it up for us.
If you're not trying to help us, also thank you. I mean, that's okay too. That's fine.
And if you're looking at this from your hotel room at reInvent thinking, this sounds cool, I should head down to Mandalay Bay, absolutely you should do so. Yes, go play. There's multiple events.
While this is pending, we've got a job in the pending state too. I'll talk. We've got partner games, Steve. We've got partner games. So not only will you get to test out AWS services like EMR, like we're doing right now, if you go play at Mandalay Bay, you'll also get to learn about some of our partners' tools. Like, I won't name everybody because I can't remember everybody off the top of my head, but we've got Datadog here, for example. We got a Datadog Quest, so you'll get, up and running with some of Datadog's tools. We got MongoDB, for example, too. So not only are you going to learn about AWS services, you'll also learn about some of our partner services too, which I've played a bunch of those quests. They're immensely fun. Anyway. All right. So
one thing that struck me about this that we've not mentioned, and I'm not sure how we're doing for time here, but while we're waiting for it to run, is that I mentioned earlier on that I'm familiar with workshops, right? And workshops tend to lead you step by step down a certain path, right? If you learn the tooling. This seems to be a little bit more open-ended in terms of I could do this a couple of different ways potentially. I mean, there's obviously a best way of doing it, right? But I could potentially do it slightly different ways. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I just downloaded the data. If I wanted to, I could like brute force.
You could pause this.
It would be a little difficult to do. There's a lot of data here, but I could just download it. I don't have to run it through EMR either. That was just a suggestion. If I want to write a PowerShell script, for example, that runs through this data and tries to, then I could use Lambda to do it if I wanted to. So these are general guidelines. Oh, we're running now.
Somebody asked if Dunder was a Python. Somebody asked, think real hard, and somebody else asked if Dunder was a Python convention or an AWS terminal convention. Unfortunately, we didn't respond. So
sorry, it's
Python,
Dunder is Python. Yes. So Python has I'll call them it's probably not the correct term, but it's magic functions. So the most, I think, known one is called dunder init.
Okay.
Dunder.
Oh, job's finished.
It's done. So it's a common thing in Python.
It's a
We
common
got
thing.
3
Okay.
minutes.
All right.
We got successful.
Okay.
And remember, we had that output destination, right? Steve?
Yes. Right. So we should have a new file, right?
Oh, spectrometer. That wasn't there before. 1.
Okay. 1.
Okay. We got a bunch of files here. I don't know what these files are.
All right.
You know what? I'm a man of action, Steve. So I'm just going to download it. Just downloading everything. So what's this called? Part 000. I'm going to move this to our.
So Johnny Code has asked a question about the first time he's heard about AWS GameDay. You'll mention this is for events. Any plans for opening us for private team builders?
Ooh, talk to me. Send me a message. I'd love to. We currently, right now, how it works is to put on a game day, you have to have an employee from AWS present. So you have to have somebody like a solution architect come and put the event on for you. But we have, so I'll give you a great example, Steve. As a European, Steve, you will probably be aware of F1, right?
Yeah.
You know Formula One?
Formula One, yeah. Yeah.
Formula One put on their own game day, specific to, it was Formula One themed. So all of the quests, all of the tasks, all the challenges were around like working with a pit crew and all kinds of stuff in Formula One. Cool. It was super cool. Riot Games put on one too. So yeah, there's definitely options. You'll have to connect with an AWS solution architect or somebody who's ready to operate. Okay, Steve, we got some casings here.
Okay, so I'm seeing pairs of data, right? 745, 700, 618s. There's something underneath that it's a mismatched count. So it sounds like it's spotted some of those casings. So what I would suggest, it wants us to enter the casing. So let's just try one. Let's see what happens.
I'm doing them all. I'm doing them all, Steve. If I do it wrong, the worst thing that'll happen, we'll lose points. And I'm really sorry if we lose points, Steve. I apologize. These points don't matter, but for us, but for some reason, they still matter to me.
Mm-hmm. I think real hard is responding. He says, thanks for the crossover call out on Dunders. He's coming over from Java and C#. So, but hey, if you're coming from C#, check tomorrow's Code Corner because we're going to be looking at some new .NET Lambda support.
Steve, we got points.
Hey, we got points, and we're still first. That's good. We must be the only ones playing.
We're always first. If you're not first, you're last, Steve. All right, so we have to wrap up, unfortunately. But it looks like this is just a tease anyway. You need to go down to Mandalay Bay and play if you want to see the rest of this. Soon there might be a show here on AWS on air where we play quests just like this. So stay tuned for that. And we'll be playing more quests throughout the event as well. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen.
We got 3 minutes apparently to go, so we can.
Okay.
So let's summarize this then. So game days, right? So if I take a workshop, right? Well, let's roll back to workshops for a start. So if I take a workshop, I'm coming at it with my own AWS account. I follow a prescribed series of steps, and I learn something, but I'm following a prescribed set, right? I get from A to B, I get to C through B. With a game day, I go to an event, I get a temporary AWS account, it costs nothing to me. While I'm there, I play as part of a team. And the challenge is somewhat scenario-based, and I have a collection of tools that are suggested that I can then use to solve the puzzle.
That's right.
And earn points, and then points make prizes, right? So this sounds like this is really cool.
And glory too, Steve.
Sorry?
And glory. Points make glory.
Glory, yeah.
So we got 4,000 points.
Did we find all the casings?
No, it looks like we didn't. I don't know.
Oh, thank you, Charles. Yeah, our ASL interpreters are awesome, especially at managing to cope with the randomness that comes out of myself and AM on Code Corner.
Yes. So I was trying a different combination there, and I think I messed us up, and I might have actually cost us some points, Steve. But I don't know.
Really?
I'm
You had
sorry.
one job, AM.
You sound like every manager I've ever had, Steve. So it says we've got one pair of casings.
I thought we had 2 pairs at one point.
We did, and I messed it up, remember?
Mm.
So let's see.
I am very disappointed, AM.
Let's see.
My first game day, and you've messed up my first task.
Hey, you're not driving over here. These points aren't yours, really. They're mine. I earned these points.
They're mine in spirit.
We're a team, Steve. I'd never.
Yeah, we're a team. We're playing as a team, except you're going down.
I don't know that I lost any points, actually.
We still says 4,000.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Hey, by the way, I have a question about this. So those points obviously are accruing as we're successfully completing a task. But do any points ever get taken away? Like if I get it wrong, do they take points away? Or if I'm slow, do they take points away? Like there's a time-based challenge?
Yes. Yeah. So, you might have something like I got to keep a web service up, and I'm going to be from the Game Day Central account is the behind the scenes way that we look at it. There's an account running in the background that can mess with the team account. So it can come in and turn things off. It can.
Oh, that's cool. So it's like chaos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of chaos.
The reason I asked that is it popped into my head. I remember the old cave adventures where you would go into a room where there was a limited oxygen supply and you had to think really fast as to how to get out of that room.
That will happen for sure.
Right.
Yeah. I think maybe that S3 select thing is important for finding out which of the casings are actually the right casings.
Okay. So there'll be an extra step to do here, which obviously
we don't have time.
Yeah. All right. So we've got a minute left. So awesome. Thank you for showing me game days.
Did you thank me for showing you game days?
Yeah, it was cool. I like it.
Did you like it? Will you play a game day, Steve?
I probably would go and play again. Yeah. I'm not walking all the way down to Mandalay Bay though, but it's a future event. Yes.
You can't. You're on AWS On Air with me.
I am. So I can't move. So
that's right. So we are going to be back with lots more content for you. If you're here, go check out Game Day. If you're not, hit me up on LinkedIn, message me, talk to me. Let's see, if you want to put on a game day where you work or in a meetup group or something, let's try and see if we can get something working.